Hey, what's going on, beautiful people? Hey, so I've got a question for you. This one may take some time for me to put together, but um, I think the average person, whether they have seen very much evidence or know too much about the case, would certainly agree that um, Jeffrey Epstein was probably not a very good person and did some very terrible things. And the more details come out over time, he did some very terrible things to some young people. Okay, people underage, and I don't need to say young people, kids, children. Okay, and there may have been other people involved in that Jeffrey Epstein didn't perpetrate these crimes on his own. So there is some strong belief in some circles that this was a very bad person, and this bad person had friends in high places and they did bad things as well. Okay, so my question to people is, why are we slowing down or stopping with Jeffrey Epstein? Do people believe that there's only one Jeffrey Epstein? Do people think that this was an isolated incident? Do people believe that Jeffrey Epstein was the only wealthy person in the country or in the world that was exploiting kids? That's an unusual thing to me, for people to be so hyper-focused on this guy. And again, the fact that he's getting this much media attention pretty much tells me that it's going to go nowhere, because they are talking about him. You know what I mean? It's all the people that are not talking about, that are still operating, that are still underground, you know, that are still being protected, because there are more Jeffrey Epsteins. There has to be. You know, Jeffrey Epstein was not an anomaly. So it's very concerning to me that there are people like Jeffrey Epstein being protected right now by wealthy people in power. And I say wealthy people in power, that doesn't just mean federal government. You know, there's all sorts of ways someone with money can have power, obviously. Their names are in the newspaper on a regular basis. So just very unusual to me that we are so quick to dismiss the probability or possibility of multiple Jeffrey Epsteins. And we seem to think that Jeffrey Epstein's the worst human being that ever walked the face of the earth. Jeffrey Epstein might have been a mild case, you know, as far as we know. There are probably far more evil people running rackets and systems like Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm curious why we aren't hell-bent on shutting that down. So give me some feedback. Tell me what you're thinking. Do you think Jeffrey Epstein was a one-man show? Do you think he was the only one like this? Do you think there are other networks like this around the world? And who do you think's protecting these people? Because obviously wealthy people have means that we don't, but it's very unusual, very unusual. So tell me what you're thinking. Was Jeffrey Epstein on his own? Was he the only one? Was he a ringleader? And once he was arrested, this whole thing was dismantled? Or are there more? Do you see more? Do you feel like there's more? Just give me an idea. Hit me back and let me know what you're thinking on this Jeffrey Epstein case, because it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. It's going to hit a brick wall and it's going to slowly fade into nothingness like it always does. But we can't sit here and pretend like there aren't other victims, because there are. And if there's one, there's too many. So let me know what you're thinking.